Hi, everybody. If you're new here, my name is Sherry. I'm an adult with ADHD. I'm also diagnosed with major depression and anxiety and all that good stuff. I also have autism, not sure. Have a lot of crossover symptoms. I wanted to pop on really quick and talk about depression. That was a pretty face, sorry. So, for those who celebrate the beginning of spring, here where I live in America and around the world, whatever holidays you guys celebrate for spring, happy spring. Where I live, it's finally, can I show you? It's finally getting warm enough that this is the first time I've been able to open the windows, get some fresh air in. I feel like I desperately need it. This video is not to make anyone feel sorry for me. This is not for attention. This isn't anything like that. I am an adult who has major depression diagnosed. I've been managing it for a number of years. And one of the things that I've noticed that I thought was important to come on here and talk to you about was that surprisingly, I had heard a fact a few years back that depression tends to be worse especially if you get seasonal affective disorder as well, can be worse in the springtime. Did you know that? This may seem counterintuitive because you're like, wait a minute. If you don't have depression, you might think, hey, why would it be worse? Why would it be worse when it's beautiful out? Yes, I've had times where I was in a depression episode where it would be the middle, and this was actually before I was diagnosed, but I kind of knew. I knew something wasn't right, and I didn't know. I found myself in it, and I didn't know how serious it was, and I didn't know why it was happening. It was the middle of summer, and it was stunningly, or late spring, it was stunningly beautiful outside. It was so gorgeous. You know, the leaves were out, the grass was out, the weather was just perfect that you could be out there and it wasn't too hot and it wasn't too cold, and you could be out there and there no jacket and you wouldn't get sick, and it wasn't too hot and there weren't a lot of bugs. And I remember going out into my yard, and it was, had been manicured. My dad had mowed the lawn. This couple decades ago, actually. Wow. I think this might have been when I realized that I had it. I was still thinking at that time it was situational because of something I had just gone through. I was not open to the idea that it was something I actually had, outside of that I did not cope with the hard times in life. Like going through a difficult breakup from a toxic relationship, or losing your home, or something like that. Those things are difficult for all of us, right? Because there's a lot that you go through. I'm getting sidetracked. So back then, I knew I was still young. I think I was about 25 at this point. I think that's when this particular incident happened. But I just remembered, I actually went outside and I thought, if I can just get some fresh air, I can snap out of this. How can I just snap out of this? It didn't matter what I did. It didn't matter if I exercised. It didn't matter if I sat outside. Things that used to make me feel better weren't working. And I actually grew up around family members who had depression, who were very open about it, which was actually really brave of them to do. And they didn't have to do that. And I was very resistant to the idea because in my mind, since I was young, I thought, well, that's not possible. These two people are not related to each other. I can't have it on both sides of my family. And it turned out that I did. And I thought they were just convinced by their counselors. They're convinced by their counselors that they have depression and they don't. And you know what? I'm not going to accept that. I'm just going to go ahead and live my life. So this might be actually a really good video for those of you who have taken that approach or have felt that way yourself. What do you have to lose if you decide, okay, you know what? I bet you I just have the wrong attitude. I bet you if I just look at this in a different way, get over it, do whatever, and then if it gets really bad, then I'll go get help. But I was just so resistant. And I had gone to counseling before because when I was young, my brother passed away and I didn't deal with that well. And so I went to go to grieving counseling because I was in such denial for a while because I was young. So I wasn't against counseling. And I knew that I had had times in my life where I was in a depression, where I didn't leave the house for like 6 months, 3 months to 6 months. Like, that's not normal. Like, tell me that's healthy, right? I just thought I was immature. I just thought I had got social skills later in life. Anyway, I was in my 20s. I was still young. And I'm like, nope, I just went through this thing and I have to snap out of it. I have to just heal and process it and move on. Nope. I don't know how long that period lasted. I've had some of them that lasted, I think, a couple of years. So, of course, in retrospect, once I finally did have something happen to me, and during my time of my hand's shaking because I just had coffee, sorry. By the way, I apologize with my ADHD and the way my brain works. I kind of go all over the place a little bit, but bear with me because I am going to keep this one short. What was I saying? I'm doing it right now. I'm spacing. Depression. This particular time. Okay, I'll just jump back. I thought it was because of something I went through and I wasn't dealing with it well. But I remember being outside and it was a gorgeous day. Thank you for staying with me here because this is actually really important. My brain is neurodivergent and my functioning, as I've learned the last couple of years, this time of year in the spring is kind of at its lowest, which is what I wanted to talk to you about today. This is actually a good message, by the way. So yes, Easter is this weekend for us, and that is tomorrow. So if I don't see you guys or I don't make a video, happy Easter. I hope you are in touch with family or friends or neighbors and are able to have some sense of community or do something nice with somebody you know. Because not all of us have family or friends, So this particular time when I was young, I went outside and there was this beautiful tree. And I used to love to just be outside and feel the breeze and that moment of just like absorbing my environment and being outside in nature would just like reset me, right? And I wasn't feeling any different. That was my clue that something wasn't. I just kind of shrugged it off, but I didn't know what to do about it. I was laying underneath the tree and looking up at the beautiful light of the sun shining through the leaves, and I was numb, which actually made me sad too, because not in the moment, but later, because I really wanted to feel it and I couldn't feel. I don't mean physically, but usually that would perk me up and it didn't do anything. And I remember thinking, oh, this is really weird. This isn't fun. But I couldn't do anything, so I was just in it. That was a clue that something may be amiss. But anyway, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm somebody who struggles with mental health issues such as depression and anxiety. I also am neurodivergent, so I'm sharing my story in the hopes that it helps somebody else out there who may be going through something similar. And we can help each other share the things that we've learned and help each other. I'm not a mental health professional, but this is very important. And I feel sharing our lived experiences, if it wasn't for YouTube and some of the channels that I have found with people sharing what it was like being neurodivergent or having some of these experiences, I think I wouldn't even know that I was struggling with some of the things I am. And has brought some healing to me in the sense of not feeling as isolated. And it's done something for me that counseling can't. I've always felt like I was in it alone. I know we all struggle with things, and I haven't judged myself, and I would go to counseling and take strategies and try to help myself, but it's still very lonely if people around you don't have what you do. So sometimes having a sense of community, even if it's somebody that you message back and forth, like people who may comment to me and here, I can't tell you what that does. What that has done, just me having this channel, even if I never even grow it, it has helped me more than I can even express. It's kind of been like that missing part, and I'm very grateful. But anyway, before I start crying and acting weird, too late, I wanted to talk to you guys today about depression in the springtime. I don't remember the statistic, and for those of you who get triggered, I won't talk about the unaliving statistic, but it is, I believe I want to say the attempt is higher in the springtime. And like I started to say earlier, you may say, wow, why? That doesn't make any sense. And it's been a while since I learned about this, so I might be remembering it a little incorrectly. So, this is my stylist, sorry. Let me know. I have to find the statistic and put it on my channel. Springtime is hard if you have brain chemistry issues. And one of the reasons is has kind of similar to seasonal depression, seasonal affective disorder, is that if you think about it, what's happening in the summer months and in the fall months that leading up to the holidays, before we're cooped up inside for 6 months or whatever, we are more active. The days are longer. We're having exposure to sunlight. So our body's making vitamin D, and it all plays a part. And being active, the physical activity, all of those things in our diet. We tend to have more fresh food in the summer, like salads and whatnot, and produce. Our brain chemistry is more ideal in the summer months and then closer to fall, if you live in a part of the world that has seasons. And then when it gets cold out and you're inside more, you're not exposed to the daylight. You're not exposed to the light, so your brain is not really, you're not getting that exposure to your skin for your body to make, vitamin D, which is important to keep you happy. I do have a happy light, which is a special kind of light that's supposed to mimic sunlight. I was using it and then I forgot about it. And that helps some. Oh, incidentally, I wanted to let you guys know, walking, at least mine, I've been trying different things recently because my depression has gotten kind of bad again the last couple weeks. Walking seems to help more, so I want to do that more. But I thought it was really important to come in, I'm like so all over the place, and talk to you guys about this time of year. And my depression's always bad this time of year. So if you think about it, by the time it's springtime and it starts to get nice out, your feel-good chemicals, your neurochemistry, for those who struggle with depression and have imbalances with the brain chemistry, you've been depleted over a number of months. And Yeah, you can start going for walks. It takes a while if you think about it. It takes a while. So by the time springtime's coming, and the holidays can be also very difficult for different reasons, for emotional reasons, if you struggle with depression, especially if you have other issues, if you have difficulties in life, keeping a job, other things, and then you have depression too. It all affects everything. So anybody who is neurodivergent or has some kind of either physical or emotional mental disability that affects their ability to work, you're going to have I'm not talking about you, sorry, for me and from people I've known. Who wants to go to family gatherings when you are embarrassed about yourself and your life and you feel like a failure? Also, if you do have depression and you are in an episode of depression in your life, your thinking is affected. So I'm not an expert. I do think, now that I'm thinking about how much my neurodivergence, like it's funny, the infinity symbol, my neurodivergence feeds into my depression feeds into my neurodivergence. It like they both affect each other, which really sucks. It really sucks. Yeah. So the last couple years, I've noticed that we're in April. I'm usually my worst around the end of March. The last couple of seasons, I would just wrap myself up in blankets and sit on the deck. I was so desperate for any kind of sunlight. I would just let it shine on my face. I'm like, I'll stare. Don't stare into the sun for your eyes. I would stare at something bright and shiny, desperately hoping to regain my neurochemicals. No matter what I do, it's like this numb feeling. It's awful. It's hard to shake it off. So I guess the couple reasons that I wanted to make this video today was I thought it was really important to bring awareness to this. Yes, I talk about neurodiversity a lot. I talk about ADHD and autism and things like that a lot because those are some things we can learn about and come up with strategies for managing. I find that in my life, my depression is so tricky. My fiance went to do an errand. He's going to come back. So it was kind of personal. I'm sure he wouldn't want to be in the background of this. I'm just like sharing some of the things that I've learned, or at least I can only speak of my experience. And you guys can tell me if you relate to this, because it's probably a little different for everyone. Because there are a lot of different things that can potentially affect your depression for better or for worse. When I'm struggling with it, it's so frustrating. It's really, really, really frustrating. Because you feel it like from, so I'm going to say you in this description just because that's how I talk. But be aware for what I can't like edit in my mind how I'm talking and talk the right way. So just know I'm talking about myself. I might say you're going to experience this, but just know in this instance, in this video right now, I'm talking about me. This is just how I talk. And it might affect you. The depression is frustrating to try to fix. You can't like fix these things, right? You can. Depression in itself is complicated too. I might start doing some research on my own and come back and within the next month or so and do my own reflection, and because I have so many different thoughts about it. And this might help you guys if any of you have struggled with going back and forth with denial. And it's difficult. For me, it's similar to neurodivergence in the sense, well, depression is very, very, very treatable. Of course, disclaimer, if you or anyone you know is in a bad place and you feel you're not safe and you have feelings that your life is worthless and that you're better off not here, please, I know it feels ridiculous. I know you're tired of dealing with it and that's the last thing you want to do. Please consider calling one of these lines, one of those helplines. I know. Like, I don't know what you're going through. I don't. But if you're like me, I know that that's the last thing you want to do. You think it's your fault. You think you should just get over it, and you're tired. And then the thought of like having to call and talk to somebody and talk about it is probably the last thing you want to do. But you feel, and it's not like a quick fix, and that's the thing, you know that. But it gets a whole lot better than you think, and it can get better a lot sooner than you think. Just know it's worth it to try. I don't want to sound cheesy like that L'Oreal commercial. You're worth it, but you are. I don't know. I mean, so many people watch these videos on YouTube. I don't know who's watching my videos. You could be watching from any country, from any culture, and people come from all different parts of the world and have all different kinds of cultural backgrounds, faiths, different beliefs. If you do believe in a higher power at all, you've got to be here for a reason, even if it's to overcome this and help that other person who's going through it. Like, maybe you feel like, what's my life worth? I'm not going to be curing cancer. I'm not going to be doing amazing things, because your brain is playing tricks on you. When you're in it, you can't tell. You can't tell. I can't tell, what negative thoughts, because my brain chemistry is influenced by the imbalance. I can't tell. Now, I don't have hallucinations. I'm very grateful. I have known people. I've had a close friend with that. So I am very cognizant in that I am not somebody who has experienced that. And I am not qualified to help you if you do have that. But that is also worth looking into. There's a young woman who has a great channel, and she's developed a community, and I believe her name is Kit, and it's something Kitso. Look for her. She's got blue hair, and she shares her story of having schizoaffective disorder, which is basically it's having bipolar and some schizophrenic symptoms. So I have so much empathy for her. And because I have major depression, and watching her descriptions, and she's actually filmed herself when she was in the middle of a depression episode and her having no energy to get out of bed, that is real. That is real. And it's not a joke. I think for me, the most challenging part, because I feel like with mine, I have struggled a few times where my thinking got to the point that I didn't want to be here, and it was very painful, and I didn't see a way out. But when my mind started to have flashes of thoughts of doing something about it, I never acted on that, because for me, I had lost a sibling when I was young, and I can't tell you what that does to a family. So that, and then my belief in God growing up and not wanting to go to a bad place and all that stuff. But mostly knowing that amount of pain of losing somebody in your family is just not something I can even describe to you. I can't tell you what that does to a person's mind and what that does to a family. And we're okay, we're good now, but we were never the same, you know. If you're new here, haven't really talked about it a lot. But my brother passed away when I was young, and it was from a car accident. It wasn't anyone's fault. It was just like a freak thing. And yeah, I won't get into it too much here, but it was very difficult in the sense that he survived the initial crash, and then he was in the hospital for a couple weeks and had all these scans to see how. I don't know how much you want me to get into that right now. And he was on machines. It's a lot, and they had to make a really difficult decision, and that was I was 14. I'm sure that has an influence on things as well, even though I have gone through my grieving process with that. That was a long time ago. That was 1, 2, like 3.5 decades ago. But yeah, so I haven't been here very much. I've just been kind of in it. And at least like periodically, it might be every week, it might be every other week. I wasn't even going to be on here. I wasn't going to film. I know that when my mom fell and went into the hospital, it was very serious, and I didn't know like how serious it was, and it was very scary. We thought she had broken a vertebra, and the ER doctor said that he was concerned about bleeding, spinal fluid, all that stuff. So that I didn't know if she was at risk of not being here anymore. So, and then she's been walking again a little bit on her own. She can breathe on her own now. So maybe that's part of it too. I've been dealing with things better this year than I have in the past. And I think part of that is having an outlet here to share my story with you guys. But yeah, I've been struggling, but I'm in a better place. It's weird. It kind of goes ebbs and flows. I have some good days and I have some bad days. I think last week I just crashed. A combination of me not being able to, and I'm getting time all mixed up. I'm like losing it. I'm losing it. Depression, I hate it. It affects your thinking. But the physical symptoms are just unreal. And it's it can come out of the blue, but the thing is you don't realize it until you've been living with it or you got it diagnosed. It's funny, we go through life and we trust our observations, we trust our feelings, we trust our assessments of things, and we don't realize that the very organ that you're using to realize something is happening is the thing that is not working well. So if the organ, your brain, is the very thing that the neurochemistry is not functioning properly, how are you going to know? How is it going to work properly to assess that you're in a problem? And we never, like, when you're in a dream and you're not awake, you don't realize it's a dream. You think it's real life. When you are in depression, it sneaks up on you. It doesn't come out of the blue unless you have like a trauma. Especially if you're somebody who lives with depression and then you have a trauma, that's bad. That could be not safe. On a positive note, I'm so excited and grateful. I saw my counselor yesterday for the first time in a month. at least. Let's see. I was overdue to see her. I think like she had to cancel an appointment or I had to cancel an appointment, and I was seeing her bi-weekly because she had to cut her hours. And so when did mom fall? Was it like mid-March? We're in mid-April. I don't even know. I've lost track. I think it's been at least a month. And I'm like, so I had to put my meetings on pause because the nature of when you have somebody come home and you want to be there for them, and I can't do everything and she wouldn't want me to, but I want to be available. I don't want to go ahead and make appointments. Her situation was more important, and I thought I'd be fine for a few weeks. And without the support of my counselor, and then having something happen that gave me more anxiety because I didn't know. I couldn't tell like if I should worry or not worry. It was a lot. And I think it's been a lot on her too. It's kind of like the thing with spring. It's like right when my mom is starting to get better. It's like, why suddenly did I have a depression last week where like I couldn't get out of bed? The physical aspects of it, the exhaustion, it's so physical. It's shocking. It really just goes to show like our brain does so much for us that we take it for granted every single day. That want to get up in the morning, the being able to think straight, to have the physical energy. Imagine that taken from you. Imagine suddenly one day your body being really heavy and you just keep sleeping. And someone's like, you know, you got to go to work. And you're just like, what? And you don't know what day it is and you don't care. And then you're feeling like shit that you are in the situation and you're like, I shouldn't feel like this. Snap out of it. And then you're blaming yourself also for something that's not your fault. And then you're trying to come up with solutions, but you're in it and you can't fix it. It can F up your life really bad. I'm sorry I'm rambling. Some of the thoughts I've had this past week as I've been reflecting on some of the things is some of the things that I've been like, oh, that happened? Oh, I might be having a problem right now and not realize it. There's some issues with both neurodivergence and with depression. You might find days going by, and you don't even think to shower. Or you don't care. You literally don't care. And those of you who his brain is working right now, you're probably getting impatient because your brain is at a higher level of functioning right now than mine. Mine is very groggy. But you might be like, oh, that's disgusting. I literally right now, I don't give a shit. I don't know why. I didn't even realize it. I keep getting sucked into my phone. I'm supposed to be using the days in between working to get things done. And I just fell into a vortex this week. And part of it's my ADHD and part time blindness. And part of it is just my depression was creeping in. I think it all feeds into it. Like, I have not been on any kind of sleep schedule. I'm looking at the time. We're 34 minutes in. I'm just checking myself here because I'll just keep rambling. And some days I'll really try hard to put my phone down. And then I'll fight with myself. Incidentally, the other day I tried to come up with an idea. I have if you struggle going to bed, because of the lack of dopamine, and then all of a sudden people are asleep and it's nice and calm and you didn't get to play all day long on your phone, or suddenly you wake up like mentally and you're like, "Ooh, this is fun," and you're playing a game and now you're getting your dopamine fix and now you're engaged and now your brain is getting all amped up when you're supposed to be going to bed. You mentally know that, but then you fight against it. You're like, "No, I'm going to play this game," and you know it's ridiculous and you can't stop it. So there was the addiction aspect. So I was trying to think of ways to counteract that. So I've set a thing on my phone with YouTube. What you're watching right now has a bedtime thing. And at a certain time, if I'm watching it, it will pop up and actually make the screen go away and it will remind me. And that's awesome, because now you have removed the distraction and the temptation from me. It's now gone. As soon as I see that, I am able to disconnect. But I don't have that ability on other parts of my phone. So I had the windows open for the first time. Oh, it feels so nice. Oh my God, I have the window open. There's somebody out there. I forgot. Oh my gosh, I'm talking about something personal and there's a dude out there in a boat. I'm happy for him. So if you, oh God, there's other people out there now, I'm embarrassed. If you have friends or family and you go to their house and it's the spring and all of a sudden they seem like they're doing worse, I wanted to let you know, if you have a friend or a family member that struggles with depression. Oh, incidentally, the reason why you have to be quiet, when you live near a body of water, and those of you who live by bodies of water know this, water does funny things with sound and it amplifies it, so the sound will just bounce off the water. So just to be aware, if you live on a small lake or a cove or any body of water and you're close to other homes, people will hear you like they're right next to you. I'm not trying to well, I am hiding a little bit because it's so personal, but that's what my channel is about. And I just thought I really need to come on and tell you guys about this whole thing with the springtime. If you go to your friend, family member, neighbor's house and it's spring and you're like, I haven't seen them in a while, I haven't heard from them in a while, and they're really resistant and they don't pick up the phone, because I don't pick up the phone. My friend's been trying to call me. I don't pick up the phone. I'm like, I'll just get back to her later, because I'm in the middle of whatever it is that I'm doing to numb myself or to, I don't know. I'll be fine, but my brain feels like molasses. And I realized it's very TMI. I'm like, do I even share this? But I know that this is part of ADHD sometimes, and it's also sometimes part of neurodivergence, and it's definitely part of depression. I really have to take a shower. I'm like, what the F is wrong with me? And this is just where I'm at this week. I literally don't care. How messed up is that? I'm embarrassed to tell you how long it's been. I'm like, I'm not doing any errands. I'm like, I don't smell because I'm not doing anything. That's a benefit of going through menopause. I have times where I'm warm, but I'm lucky I don't get very fragrant. You know, you wouldn't even know. This is embarrassing. But yeah, if you go to somebody's house, you'll know. They probably won't even let you in. What's the right thing to do? I don't know. But if you go to counseling, ask them. We can't be responsible for people we love because they have to get help for them. We can't do it for them. But I don't know. I felt like it's really important to come out and share this with you. It's Saturday. I'm so out of it. I started walking the day before yesterday. I'm going to try to do that again. It's hard for me to be consistent with anything. And now that I'm starting to go to counseling again, I'm starting to kind of like, okay, the rug was pulled out from under me. I'm like that little kitten in that thing that's hanging on to the branch, and they say hang in there. I feel like, the support was gone, and I was just hanging in there and making sure somebody else was safe, and that's fine. And she feels guilty, so she doesn't share things with me. So, yeah. And now I have to like take care of me so I'm better for myself and if she needs me. So, yeah. It's not a way to live. And the me that I am right now, I don't care. If I were to compare this to what level of depression, it's not as bad today. And part of that is the situation I'm in. I need structure. I was just thinking this week, okay, I need to get a job soon, and I need to figure out a way that I can shortcut this process that I started talking to you about, like how to figure out something that is neurodivergent friendly that I can survive on. And I don't know if that's mission impossible, but I'm going to have to figure something out soon, because this working one day a week is for the birds. Now, I'm going to say bye for now. But yes, be aware. If you have somebody you know who struggles with major depression, is diagnosed, or you suspect, and this is without substance use. It's kind of similar to like people who let themselves go because they're alcoholics or addicts. It's like that similar thing. You'll come to their house, dishes won't be done, there might not be food in the fridge. Some of the things that I've kind of noticed, but I've been in my head. I've been in my head all week. And I've just kind of, oh, how many days has it been since I showered? I don't even know. Oh, well, that's not good. That's when you know you're in it. Oh, I'm hungry again? Ugh, I really don't want to get something to eat. Ugh, I wish my stomach would just stop growling. It's annoying me. I'm busy. I don't want to get up. F it. I just won't eat. That's a sign. I've never had that before, but I've had that for 3 or 4 days. And I'm like, oh, this could be bad. But still in it, it's kind of like an afterthought, because it's got these observations to actually get to the part of me that cares and want to do something about it. I would have to not be affected by. That's the funny thing about depression, is it's not necessarily, there's like it's a whole thing. I can't even tell you. Neurologically, it does things to the way you think. You're not exactly thinking positive. And I'm not sure why. I mean, I do know with ADHD that dopamine, if you don't have enough, you don't have physical energy, as well as the motivation, because it's a motivational chemical. And for those who are just like, just do it. Well, if you don't have gas in a car, it's not going to go very far. And your brain has the appropriate level of all the different neurochemicals to do every different kind of thinking. And so what you're asking or thinking that somebody else can just do, they literally don't have the brain fuel to do it. And their brain's an organ, and it's not able to do, just like somebody's body not regulating sugar. That's a insulin's a hormone. Neurochemicals are like hormones. And if they don't have the right fuel to do the things they need to do, you're not thinking straight or caring. I've been thinking a lot about the pyramid of wellness. I can't remember what it's called. So I literally want to go take a shower, and I'm so tired that I literally don't care or want to do anything. And the only reason I'm sharing this is not to feel sorry for myself. I was just thinking, this is just one of the stages. This is just one of the ways that the symptoms can affect me when I'm in it. And so, as much as I hide this from people, and I would never want them to see this, I thought it's kind of important too. I'm not crying right now. I'm not wanting to not be here right now. I'm just meh. And there's so many things I want to do, but I'm so tired. I'm so tired. And the desire to sleep is stronger, and it feels so good. And I was wondering why the things that are bad for us feel so good. If sleeping too much is bad for you, why does it feel so good? If eating sugar is bad for you, why does it taste so good? I'm addicted to sugar too. I'm going to let you go because this is like devolving. Main points, takeaways. Yeah, that actually wanting to go take a shower. When I was at my worst, when I was forced to get help, I remember coming home from work, and I worked at Starbucks. I'd come home for work. I don't even think I changed yet. I would just kind of like, my body would just flump down onto, I was sleeping on a futon, and I would just rest for a minute or take a nap. And a whole day would go by. And I wouldn't move. And I didn't know. I was that tired. I can't even explain to you that level of exhaustion. And the thought to just get up to go into the other room to shower. It's not where I'm at now. I wouldn't even be making this video. I wouldn't be with it enough. It was nuts. And my brain was drenched in that lack of chemicals or whatever. So there wasn't thinking. I was just kind of shell-shocked from some stuff I was going through. I didn't move. And my body was so fucking heavy. I couldn't move. I couldn't physically move. And somehow I went to work, and I was kind of a hot mess. I remember having an anxiety attack one day. And then I would go home and I would crash. And it would happen again. And if you were to tell me, just go to the bathroom or go take a shower or go get something to eat, I'd be like, I don't have the energy. Like, it felt like miles away. And you couldn't convince me. I would just be out. I wouldn't want to, I couldn't, like, I didn't have it. I didn't have energy at all. Physically, it wasn't just a mind thing. It does stuff to your whole body. I don't understand it. And I can't explain it if you haven't been there. But I don't think there's anything that I can explain that feels that way. The only thing I can explain is maybe if you had a really bad case of mono or the flu, but none of the, the throat congestion, none of the sick, the fever, any of that. But the physical exhaustion was so severe that you're really not conscious, very awake at all. And your body is so heavy, you can't move. And imagine that not coming out of that, just staying there until like fear of an alarm, the alarm jerking you up, and you have to, and imagine like things feeling like they weigh a ton. Like everything is heavy, right? And then that was like the first time in my life I was having thoughts of not wanting to be here. And I had an aunt say to me, "You're going to live a very short life if you don't do something." And she convinced me to try medication that I had been refusing. I didn't want to take medicine. Everyone's situation is different. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a mental health counselor. Talk to your doctor. Everybody's brain chemistry is different. What works for me may not work for you. But when you have the right counselor and you have the right doctor or prescriber to figure out medication for you if you need it, and with your particular health and your particular diet and your particular medicine that works for you, not me. You take the wrong medicine, it's not good. It can make things worse. I was scared to take it. So I made myself do it. And I kid you not, the first day I took it, I wasn't 100%, but just the fact that I wanted to lift my body to pick up one basket full of laundry and bring it to put in the wash. That was fucking huge. I was like wearing the same clothes probably. I wasn't washing my clothes. But that's the thing, that if you're like me and you struggle with depression, and right now, because I'm recovering from a burnout and I am getting better, but now I'm scared to work more hours because I don't want to go in burnout again. It's kind of a catch-22. So now I have these days, and then this thing happened with my mom, and now my symptoms are coming back, that this lack of structure is not good. Because I could easily fall into bad habits. So working on the time going to bed, I have some apps I downloaded to my phone because the bedtime thing on my phone has not been working. It lets me know sometimes and not others. And I need to get something on my phone that's going to do the same thing that when I go on YouTube, it does. I need something that's going to just block all the apps and just say, hey, it's your bedtime. Do you want to turn off your phone? Yes, I know, like I might ignore it and I might have days where I'm not good about it. But with my time blindness and my lack of structure, I am all over the place. I can't keep track of time. My symptoms, my ADHD symptoms are bad. When my depression's bad, my ADHD symptoms are bad. When my ADHD symptoms are bad, I start to get depressed. So they kind of like go together. I've just been physically tired. So, you might find your depression worse in the spring. And you may not even realize it. So if suddenly you feel like things feel worse and you're not, and you're thinking that you should just be able to get up and clean your house and like, yay, it's nice out, and you have less motivation and you're like, ugh, and you're thinking it's a weakness of character, just know that it might not be. It might just be part of your depression, and it's okay. It's not okay, but it, that's not how you want to live. But have patience and don't let it win. So your brain is affected and your thinking is probably affected. My thinking is not exactly positive when I'm affected. My thinking is like, tells me basically it's not going to get better anyway. And I'm tired. I'm tired of trying. It just feels impossible, and I don't care. I don't care. So I'm going to go shower. I'm too embarrassed to say how long it's been, but the fact that the last couple of days and I know I said that, we've been out of food sometimes, and I'm afraid to ask for him to buy more food because I feel guilty. And I have a little money and I can buy food now, but I did notice I'd be playing a game or I'll be watching something on YouTube, which is helpful for me. So sometimes it's therapy type stuff. Sometimes it's a rabbit hole. But getting annoyed. Not feeling like I just ate and it was like 4 or 5 hours ago. And I'm like, ugh. But it feels like 5 minutes ago because of my time blindness, and I'm hyper focusing on something, but I'm really tired and I don't care because my depression doesn't make me care. I don't care to eat. That's a problem. So if you find yourself in that situation, 1, give yourself grace and don't blame yourself. 2, if you haven't gone to counseling, please think about it. And 3, if you're like many of us and you don't have health insurance, do what you need to do to get some. And if you can't think straight enough to get some and it's overwhelming, call one of those. If you're in a position where you are not safe, like you might act on it, definitely call one of those helplines. They have access to services. They can give you resources that I cannot. I'm just a fellow struggling human, and my experience may not be yours. We all have different levels of it. We all have different situations. The housing and the food insecurity for people with neurodivergence who are called high functioning, high masking. I don't know how high functioning it is when you can't work very well. I don't know how high functioning it is when you end up homeless, which if I didn't have a family right now would be me, and has happened to a lot of neurodivergent people. It is no wonder that people who have neurodivergence have a much higher percentage of addiction. Wouldn't you want to escape? And your brain is going to try to think of things to get you to medicate because it's miserable, it feels like shit, and it wants to feel better. So I am at the very least making sure to do things so it doesn't get worse. But I thought I would say I got concerned, but I'm still kind of like, I don't care. But I'm like, oh, I have to do something. So since I'm not caring about eating or showering, and it's been a week, I'm thinking that could be bad for my health. Maybe other people are feeling like that. In the springtime, I feel like one of those vampires. Like the light is so bright and the energy is so lacking, and I will do almost anything. I will get a happy light, but I'm physically, emotionally, mentally, energy drained by the spring. So if you need help and you're not safe, I will say it a million times over, please reach out for help. You're here for a reason. I don't know what that is. I don't know what the truth of what happens after we pass, but you are meant to be here, and the world is a better place regardless of how you feel. Your brain is lying to you. You may have had really bad experiences and trauma in life that make you think that you're not supposed to be here, but who knows? Maybe you're supposed to survive what you're going through, and maybe that person that you either grow up or heal when you get to the point that you're better, and let's say you want to help somebody else who struggles with what you did. Maybe that person's the next Einstein. Maybe that's the next person that humanity needs that heals us. There may be things that none of us really know that are good. So please, 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 you are worthy and you're important and you're precious. If you're alive, it's for a reason. And if you're in pain, please, I implore you, seek counseling, seek assistance. It would be so much worse if I didn't have that. And I'm grateful that my counselor and I are going to bump it up since I'm struggling. We're going to start meeting weekly until I'm okay. And then I can build from there. And I hope you guys are all doing great. Oh my God, this was only going to be 5 minutes. If this helps one person out there, it's got to, I hope. Be aware, be compassionate, be patient with people who may be struggling with things that you have no idea. Whether it's a coworker or an employee, I implore you to, if you have employees, this is something that is a threat to people's livelihood. So they will not share it. You might think, yeah, well, we have protections under the rights of... ADA does not protect you if you don't get documentation. And who wants to expose, like, they don't want to talk about it. If somebody is struggling to even want to be here, that's a heavy weight. And the thought of actually dealing with that additional burden. So regardless of what that employee is going through, if you are a manager, don't add to their shame. Please. Don't add to their shame. Just try to be, we're not responsible for other people, but try to make your office a safe place for them to share with you so that you guys all can work, you can work together to help resolve whatever barriers to being able to work you are able to do. Try to be tolerant, please. You might be from an older generation. You might be like, that's your problem. We have to run a business. I'm sorry. I get it. But your employees are human beings, and you might be tolerant of somebody who's in a wheelchair, has that kind of disability. You might be tolerant of somebody who might have to leave for other medical reasons. This is a medical situation too. This isn't willpower thing. This is just as serious as having diabetes, just a different way. You can lose your life too. So, on a happy note, bunnies, Easter eggs, chocolate, rainbows, baby animals. Know your friend or loved one who has depression, is not feeling those things right now. Maybe offer to go hang out with them. Find something they like to do and say, look, I don't care. I'm not really feeling like dressing up anyway. I know that you don't want to go out. Do you want to watch a movie? I don't know. See if there's something you can do for them to just hang out with them. Something that's low pressure, something that is not embarrassing, that will allow them to want to let somebody in. That's a way we can all help each other. If you notice someone you love hasn't showered in a week, their fridge is empty because they don't care, that's something needs help. I love you guys. Know that I'm not going to give up if you don't give up. I'm going to start walking again because I have to push against this. And I'm at that Sisyphus stage where I feel like I'm about to pick up a boulder and try to push it up a mountain again. And the boulder always wins. And it's fucking heavy. And I don't want to do it. And I literally don't care if I don't shower. So I'm in it. I'm going to go eat something. Can I reward myself with chocolate? Have a happy Easter if you celebrate. Have a happy holiday. I won't give up if you don't give up. Good things are coming. I know it. It has to be, because we're still here. And like I said in the very first video I ever did, no matter how bad it is, if you look out, just like, you know, in The Crow, they say it can't rain all the time. Well, sometimes it's sunny. And it's never winter forever. It never rains forever. There's good and there's bad in life, but there is good. There is good. There can be good again. There is help. Things can get better, and if it feels insurmountable, don't worry. Just make a step into that right direction. Just sometimes showing up is the hardest thing you can do. Sometimes sitting up and not laying in bed is the hardest thing you can do. I'm going to go shower. I can't believe this. I've never gotten this bad. That's pretty bad. I love you guys. I'm going to go eat something. Heart. Like my other hand's holding the phone. Bye.